Hey fellow foodies! We're headed to the state of Indiana for some sugar cream pie, also known as Hoosier pie. To start, let's make our pie crust. And this recipe I'm giving you is good for 2 pie crusts. In a bowl, add 2½ cups of flour, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon sugar, and 2 sticks of cold butter that's cut into chunks. And using our pastry blender or our hands, break up the butter into small pebble-like pieces for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then, slowly add in about 4 to 6 tablespoons of ice-cold water until your dough clumps together. Then let's transfer our dough onto our counter and work with it. You will pack it until it comes together, and you'll still be able to see some large pieces of butter. And that is what makes this pie crust flaky. You can then divide your dough in half and wrap each in plastic cling wrap. Or pack it straight and then press it down a bit so it'll be easier to roll when we take it out of the fridge. Leave one in the freezer if you're not using, and leave the other one in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. Then we're going to gather our fillings and preheat the oven to 375 degrees. After 30 minutes, flour our counter again and roll out our pie dough to about 1/4 inch thick and also 1 inch wider than your pie plate. We want that overhang so that we can tuck it in and form the edges. I use my entire pie dough instead of dividing it into 2, but I cut out a lot of the excess around the edges and then using that for my leftover pie and then storing that in the freezer. Then, tuck around the edges of the pie crust to make sure it is secure on your plate. You can also make designs on the edges at this point. Duck the crust and put a piece of parchment paper on top, and using either dry beans or pie weights so that the center of the pie doesn't rise and form a bubble. Then we will gonna bake it in the oven for at least 15 minutes. Then take it out and then brush the edges with egg wash so that it will be nice and golden when baked. Then put it back again in the oven and bake for another 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, take it out and let it cool down while we prepare our filling. For our pie filling, we would need to melt our butter on low to medium heat. Melt 4 tablespoons of butter, and once melted, add in 5 tablespoons of flour. We are making a roux. When the flour is cooked and blended in with our butter, we want to start adding 1 cup of milk and gently whisk it in with a roux. Then add in 1 cup of heavy cream, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and also half a cup of our sugar. Mix well until smooth. This will take about 3 to 5 minutes. And do not leave it at the stove at this time. Keep stirring until thick and smooth so you won't have uneven lumps. And once that is done, let it cool for a bit, then we will add it into our pie crust. Smooth out the top before you place it back in the oven, and then bake it again for another 20 to 30 minutes until set. Let it cool on the counter for at least an hour and then place it in the fridge for another hour before you slice into it. Leaving it in the fridge will allow you to make a nice smooth cut and the crust won't crack and fall apart on you. Trust me, patience is key when making this pie. I hope you try this sweet treat. And don't forget to click like, subscribe to my channel for more weekly videos. And as always, thanks for watching!